안녕하세요. Exchange Chan Megan
조앤입니다. 안녕하세요. Exchange Chan 35번째 시간입니다. Hello, Megan.
Hi, Joanne.
Oh,
How are you?
fine.
Yeah?
Always fine.
How are you doing with the early sunset?
Early sunset.
So not so much light this time of year.
But welcome to me.
Really? Why?
Because, I love this kind of night also.
You like nighttime?
Yeah, nighttime. So, the full moon also welcome.
I mean, that makes sense with you love the ocean. You love, so loving nighttime and the moon, all connected.
Connected.
Yeah. Well, the moon
wave.
pulls-
You mean wave?
Yeah. And maybe that's why we get along. I have a lot of moon energy.
A moon energy.
I have a lot of night and moon energy.
Lunar energy.
A lunar lady.
Oh, lunar lady.
Very sensitive, which is very watery.
Oh, I agree.
She's so sensitive. Is there a phrase in Korean? And we have, it's called seasonal depression. Is
Depression.
Do you
winter,
know,
especially winter.
Yeah. Is
Long night.
Is there a phrase for that in or a term for that in Korean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get that? Or you because you said you like it. Do you ever feel depressed during this time of year?
And especially for me, I like this kind of coldness. Sneak into my body.
You love that.
And then, it
Let
makes
the
me
cold seep in.
Yeah, I feel that kind of feeling. So I like, and then I enjoy this kind of coldness, and it makes my brain so fresh.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's huge. Really, if there's like a chilliness, it does spark your brain a bit. I think.
Spark.
Yeah, it makes it like alert.
Alert.
I think.
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes, we have to care about some brain stroke. Because aged guys.
I mean, today we're talking about like learning and growing. That helps keep your brain fit. So, yeah, keep learning and growing, and then maybe you won't get a brain stroke. I don't know what to tell you, Joanne.
Okay, let's get to it.
Okay, sounds good.
So today's topic is learn and growth.
Learning and growth.
Yeah, learning and growth. So we always feel learning, and then as one of the aged guys, I always want to learn something, and then I feel that this kind of these days guys, as in a very fast changing society, we're always in the very danger of the learning something new.
A danger, isn't it good
Yeah,
to be
danger.
learning something new?
Crisis. It's a kind of crisis.
Crisis, we're learning too much. Oh no. Is that not
Too
good?
much.
Well, yeah, sometimes there's like too much information and it feels like you're always behind in some ways, especially with technology.
They're always
constantly.
left behind.
Yeah. I mean,
Alone.
all alone. I think that also happens with younger people too. Maybe not as severely, but there are moments like I'm like, oh God, do I need to learn that in order to like have, I guess, evolve my career in some ways? Because I just want to make art and do things in that way. But do I need to learn certain technologies in order to also get my art out there and be in the art world that way? So I think there's a learning curve for everyone, and there is a lot of pressure to know everything. And something I'm currently doing is like, okay, I can't. I'm already doing a lot. My learning and growing, I already do a lot in general, so I need to pick and choose.
So you expressed some kind of learning curve, but we are faced with both of learning curve and aging curve.
I mean, every day you live, you're closer to death. So you age every day. Yeah.
So, but I'm trying.
Yeah, well, and I think
I'm alive.
she's kicking, y'all. She's here.
Yeah.
I'm not sat here with a corpse. But I think you said that it's a danger of learning always, but I think that you have this curiosity. Not everyone wants to learn all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I know I've had plenty of people in my past where it's like, I'm done. What? No, I think it's always great to learn something new. Well, because learning is changing. It's change. And some people, well, everyone has, I would say, at different levels, there is a fear of change. And learning and growing and pursuing a new hobby or just teaching yourself something new. We get into habits and behaviors and our brain wants us to be safe. And so change makes our brain be like, alert, are we not safe? And so, yeah, sometimes people get really used to the grooves of, our brains. It makes certain connections. And it's like actually hard work sometimes to change those connections if you want to change. And that's like with learning a new skill. So I think it's great that you want to learn. I think it's why we get along, because we're both curious and we want to learn.
Yeah, that's I agree.
Good.
I totally. Yeah. So, and then, these days are so fast. So fast changing.
Yeah.
And then, but sometimes I've heard some so shocking news from some media that, some young guys, they did a very great thing. And then I know that is so many young guys, not so few, a few guys, they did so superior things.
Like what?
We didn't expect. So they exclaim some kind of finding out from in the scientific side or some kind of, and then even though investor,
Yeah.
we didn't expect that kinds of amount of
so
money.
like someone invested and they're
Yeah.
like, wait, I didn't expect this much.
We
this
didn't expect
intense
at
result.
all. In our times,
Yeah.
but, so huge.
I mean, we have how many more resources now? And it is usually a trend where each generation is smarter than the last.
So smart.
We just get smarter and smarter, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, in Korean culture, how pushed is it to get an education? Right? Like everyone should. I mean, you have a college degree. My parents don't. I was the first person in my family to get a college degree. And I'm the first person in my family to have a master's degree.
Oh.
Like
Great.
that was not expected. It was, encouraged in my family, and the state I'm from is very higher education focused. So that's really exceptional. But yeah, people are shocked sometimes because I do well enough in academics. I don't always like them because I'm like, why is art in academics like this? Can someone else talk about my work? I don't want to talk about it all the time. Someone please do that for me. But like it has helped my art as well. But yeah, people are sometimes shocked. They're like, oh, really? No, my parents don't have degrees.
In Korea, a little different from yours.
Yeah, no, it's very pushed.
Very pushed.
And encouraged.
All parents so push their kids
Yeah.
to be successful in
academics,
in academics and after graduation in the society's hierarchical side.
Yeah. I mean, we were pushed in a way as well. And it differs from family to family. My parents were quite like, hey, you should go to university. And I did. And I have 2 degrees now. I forget. I
forget?
I know, really. Sometimes I forget. And I'm like, wait, it is kind of a big deal. I have a master's degree. I forget. And I went to a prestigious art school. Like, I forget. It just wasn't. I mean, it is a milestone. And I maybe didn't congratulate myself enough because there was enough going on in my life where I'm like, wow, there's a lot happening and this is just nothing. But yeah, I guess I just forget because I also value kind of with our topic today, I really value other kinds of intelligence. I don't think strictly having a degree makes you smart Because I've met some not very life...
Me neither.
Well, like life intelligent people who have like doctorates. And I'm like, you are one of the blandest, boringest, like, you aren't very intelligent to me. You're very smart, but I wouldn't call you wise. And that's fine. Like, that's one kind of intelligence. But, and I will say, having an education, depending on how you do education, and maybe it's because I do learn and grow in other ways. I had someone, this is going to sound like toot my own horn. I met someone and they were like, oh, you're really smart, aren't you? And I was like, oh, I don't know. If you think I'm smart, thank you. Like, cheers. But I also was like, oh, but maybe they didn't have access to education, because there is that. But I think, like what we're talking about today, learning and growing and making your brain malleable and curious and desiring change and learning new skills, I think is a beautiful kind of intelligence, a beautiful way to live life. Just being curious and expanding is a beautiful way to live life.
That's right. So the only thing that I know from the long periods of education is that we can get from that, we can get some kind of, the desire to learn something.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. And then the only thing that I don't know many things till now.
But I think sometimes there's a push to do it all at once, because it's like you need to do all this education and then do these things. And it's like there's that, in English, it's the phrase childlike curiosity. And maybe because I'm an artist, that just never left. I just always am curious, and I'm open to seeing the beauty in a lot of things and questioning everything, or at least being curious about everything, not questioning in the way of, oh, why are you that's bad. It's a question and an inquiry and a curiosity exploration. And I think if you maybe do education right, it allows your brain to desire to do that. Because I probably would fail in the Korean system. I'd be like, memorize? No, thank you. I can't. I choose not to. That hurts my brain. I could do it. I did it in my schooling, but that's not how my brain likes to work. But it is very curious. And I know how to do a lot of things because of it. If we're talking about learning and growing, I can do a lot of things because of my curiosity.
Yeah, your curiosity makes it, we can make a lot of things to talk.
A lot of things to I mean, people find me very interesting. I just think that's how I live my life. I don't think it probably is interesting, but I have fun with myself. I'm my own best friend. It's a great time.
And then nowadays you are so into some kind of knitting and pottery.
Well, I think those are like...
We've already know.
I think those are things I've talked about because they're very tangible hobbies, or people see them as hobbies, like skill hobbies.
Tangible means practical.
Tangible means to touch.
To touch.
Very like grounding ones, like very so tangible. You literally touch them. Like you could have an intangible thing, which is like maybe doing something online or thinking ideas.
Ideas.
Yeah, I have a habit of, because I'm an artist and because I use a lot of mediums, anything that other people might call a hobby, or I don't like the word like side hustle when they're like making money from your hobby. I just that just sounds really consumer. It's very capitalistic, and I just but I do have the habit of anything I learn new becomes part of my art. Just everything I do becomes part of my art. Even how I like breathe in the day is part of my art. But yeah, pottery. I started it as a way to ground and heal and breathe. Like, it's a very grounding practice, and I just wanted more play in my life. And I come from a place that is there are a lot of potters. There's a potter there specifically, or like the nuns and monks there found this deposit of clay, because I come from a very wet place, like a lot of lakes, and so it's a big pottery town. And I just kind of knew I would always learn pottery, and it just sounds fun. Like, I love the idea of being able to, if I want something, I can make it, or I know someone who can help me make it, or I design it. Like, I just like the idea of being able to make things I would like to have in my life, because it feels very personal, and it's you put your being and your spirit, and you're very contemplative, and you're centered around, like, I would like this thing. I've lived life a certain way. I know how I use things. I'm going to make it that way. And then maybe later it changes, and then you can evolve with it. So it's this living life and being very observant, figuring out what you like. So I first started it just because it'd be a fun skill to have. Have I been making artwork that I've been selling? Yes. But and it becomes a part of who I am. But that's also anything you make. It has your personality in it, unless you're solely creating for other people. But it always has your personality in it, and it's your human touch. So pottery is really fun, and yeah, it's a cool skill to have. And it's been a fun learning curve, because I wasn't... First, I call myself smart. Now I'm like, I'm really good. I am very good, quick at learning things. And when I was a kid, if something was hard, I just like wouldn't do it, because normally... Okay, for example...
I don't want to say, but I have to say that, yes,
oh,
you
okay.
are.
Thanks. Sure. But you know how it's like being humble while also acknowledging something. Like, I'm not going to say, no. It's like, no, it's okay. I can be okay at doing these things. But I also know my maybe lack of strength is sometimes I give up too early, because I'm like, oh, it's a little hard. Wow, how dare. But like basketball was one of those as a kid, because I'm very athletic. I have a good muscular base, like a fit enough demeanor. I would come from family of athletes, whatever, or like naturally athletic. And basketball, I just wasn't interested enough to get better. I can still dribble a basketball, shoot a hoop, like it's fine, but I just wasn't interested enough. And then I ended up quitting at like age 16, because I'm like, I just don't want to. I'm not interested enough to get better at this. And I'd have to put effort into something that I'm not that interested in.
So that's the only thing that draws your interest.
Well, not just that. I mean, there are other things that, I don't know, sometimes I think I'm a quitter, and sometimes I'm like, am I too lazy to effort? So what I'm saying all that because pottery at first, there was a learning curve, and I was actually kind of happy that I wasn't perfect at wheel throwing. I was like, oh, I'm not that great right now. How beautiful. I get to learn something new. And then actually, when I've showed someone, like I haven't made many things on the wheel, and I showed someone a mug I made with some lips, and he's like, wait, is this like, I'm like, it's the 5th cup I've done. And he goes, what? And so apparently I am good at it for not doing it much. But I don't know. I like using my body and using my hands. I'm quite handy. And I think it's a beautiful way to interact with life. And I guess I pick things up pretty quickly. So why not use that skill?
And then I think that, I didn't, I'm a kind of guy that so ignorant in that field of art. But I think that, art is so grateful way to express myself.
Yeah.
And then, to put out my energy.
Yeah.
So energy, and then with something that I wanna express from my inner side, and then without using any words.
It's beautiful.
Words is so limited, and then words is disappear.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying earlier about like academia and art at times where I'm like, sometimes I don't want to speak this to you. I want to connect with you through feeling and through even just the act of creation. Pottery is a good one because it's very visceral. It's very much in the body. Knitting, as you've mentioned, like that one too, is you have to really sit with yourself and you're very much focusing on your hands and you're probably making a garment of clothing that you then wear. So it's all a part of your body. But what you're talking about, I think art is an overt way of of expression. I think there's so much creation in the world that isn't art, but also it kind of is. I think cooking. When I cook, to me, it's part of nourishing my body, and it gives me, 'cause sometimes, especially lately, I've had to do stuff on a screen. It just gets me away from my screen, and I get to be creative in the kitchen, and I get to use my body and nourish my body. That to me is really creative. Going on a walk and just like seeing the world and being in my body and moving it, like that is creative in its way. So I think like, yeah, I guess I forget that I do learn new skills sometimes, like doing yoga or, you know, learning a new, dance is the next one that I'm pursuing. Yeah, I don't know. I think learning new skills is just a beautiful part of life. I just always want to keep doing stuff.
Great.
Then
let's have some time to learn about the music.
So something they'll learn about us is these are kind of some favorite songs we've played along the way, some that currently interest us. So, hi, learn about us. Our first song that we've played a couple times now is Aparte or APT by Rosé and Bruno Mars.
Wow!
태양이가 좋아하는 랜덤 게임 랜덤 게임 게임 스타트 아파트 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 kissy face sent to your phone but I'm trying to kiss your lips for real red hearts that's what I'm on yeah come give me something I can feel don't you want me like I want you baby don't you need me like I need you now sleep tomorrow but tonight go crazy all you gotta do is just meet me at the 아파트 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 아파트
It's whatever you like. Turn this opposite into a club. I'm talking drink, dance, smoke, freak, party all night. Come back, girl, what's up? Don't you want me like I want you, baby? Don't you need me like I need you now? Sleep tomorrow, but tonight go crazy. All you gotta do is just meet me at the
아파트 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 Hey, so now you know the game. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm coming to get you. Hold on, I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm on my way. Hold on, I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm on my way.
Don't you want me like I want you, baby? Don't you need me like I need you now? Sleep tomorrow, but tonight go crazy. All you gotta do is just meet me at the
아파트 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 just meet me 아파트 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 아파트
just meet me
아파트 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 아파트
just meet me
And nowadays, you know, especially I'm so into the studying English.
Yeah?
So when I meet you, it's a very perfect chance to practice my English.
I'm glad. I mean, I think you're so generous to be speaking my mother tongue. So it's nice to hear that you find it helpful so you can practice.
I don't know exactly about the English is your mother tongue or not.
Of course it is.
But the what I know that is, you know, you are perfect in speaking in English. So.
I try. I have been told though, like even people who, because I'm a writer and because I've been like given my experience in life, I've also accommodated to non-native speakers. So I think I have a certain kind of vocabulary that even really people who know a lot of English, they go, I'm learning a different way of speaking. I'm like, well, I don't know. But I also like learning English, I guess. I like vocabulary. But also I think it's good to not be too strict because so when you're learning English, what are your focuses?
Focuses? So, my lack of English makes me study a wide range of a lot of the vocabulary and then idioms and expression way. And then more of that, the thinking way that I've learned. Yeah, I've learned.
What way?
So I've learned a lot from English, but most of all, the thinking way is a little different from our Korean words, I think.
Okay.
And then we Koreans, we are not used to speak a lot. In every moment.
Are you learning American English?
So do you think it's a little wrong?
No, I mean, I'd like to hear more about what you mean by that, and I'd like to hear some examples. But one quick thing that I think is different, like for saying when we introduce this show, it's like, hi, exchange Chan, Megan, and then you say, Joanne, I am. So in English, I would say like, hi, welcome to exchange Chan,
so you
Chan,
mean
Chan. I think we just have more.
Shorter.
No, English is longer. I think, I mean, not only in English, but I know little bits and pieces of various languages, and I do speak German, and I am slowly learning Korean. But just as with any language, right? Like sometimes you have a word that you have to say like 4 or 5 other words in a different language in order to do it. And I think in English I've noticed that happens often, whereas in maybe a different language or how the grammar is set up, you just say fewer words and it means the same thing as you're saying like 20 in English.
So you mean that the expressing way can be simpler way compared to the other languages, you mean?
No, in English, sometimes you express more. You have to express more to say the same thing, if that makes sense.
Then I mean a little bit different. So I mean that what I've learned from learning English, that in English they express something in a very detailed way. In very specific way. Okay. And then in Korean, we usually don't say any specific or long explanation about something. We just read the room, and then we guess the other person's thinking way and the other person's feeling, and then we just guess, and then from that background we just do our action. So usually we don't do speak a lot, and then that's the virtue. Our virtue, and kind of we can say that is a kind of social rule. Yeah, don't say much.
I mean, I think that's something that a lot of Westerners, depending on where you come from in the West, have to learn about Korea, like the certain cultural norms of things that are more common to read the room about. I think there's a lot of times where there are actually certain ways that you read a room in the West that are different. So there is like quite a bit of context in some ways. And I just think the context is different. And maybe as you're saying, it like affects language in a different way. Because like I've had to read many rooms. And sometimes me reading a room is, I mean, there are quite a few, let's say Americans where like are more individualistic than communal. And so there is that context that like means you need to speak more in order to give the context, because there isn't as much social context in some ways. But I was raised in a household where I've had to read plenty of room, and it kind of it's permeated throughout my life, and I've lived in Taiwan, and now I've been here for a bit. And so there's I think I know how to read a room in some ways, but at least in my experience with English, and because I've always been guest and visitor, I also just want to know people, and or I at least would. I don't want people to misunderstand me, especially because I'm guest, and so it's like, hi, I'm trying my best here, but I also don't want to assume what you're thinking because I don't want to hurt you. I don't want you to feel hurt by this. I don't want to harm you even, because I'm really big on especially like consent and someone feeling like that they have autonomy in a situation.
And then I don't mean that. I don't mean that the English speakers, they don't have some kind of a mind of, they're hurting others.
I mean, sometimes though.
And then you don't have some sense of reading room. I don't mean that. But the some kind of expressing way is in Korean. I can feel that some kind of implicit, and then in English so explicit, and then they express something in a very long way and a very detailed way, and some very scriptive. So I can feel I wonder how they express this something in a very specific way, in a very detailed way, because we are not used to this kind of descripting way. And so the what we learn from that English is that the detailed expressing way. We are not used to the kinds of things.
And like expressing yourself in that way.
Yeah, in a very detailed way.
Okay.
So it can make some misunderstanding
sure.
sometimes, but we are used to that kinds of atmosphere of the social in everywhere. So we always get some focus on others, not rather than myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it a bit more, I think it varies from family to family, and I think that maybe is more where the individualistic can potentially come in. I'm also just thinking out loud, so don't take my words as I don't know, scripture, but because when you were saying, oh, I don't think people don't care, I'm like, yeah, but some people don't. My first ever boyfriend, he pretty much was like, I'm not responsible for the way you feel. And I'm like, okay, yeah, technically you're not. Like technically my emotions are my own, but he was also using it to weaponize being a dick to me. But then I come from a family where it was like, you are responsible for everything I feel. And that was like my mother specifically. And so I had to constantly worry about every little thing I did to make sure mom felt okay. And that's also not great. So it was like a very individualistic to family units and maybe a bit of a wider community, but not like the whole of the States. Because it's also many different cultures within the States besides just a Korean culture. So I'm curious about that. Like I find that really curious because like in my family, it was very high context, but also it was very much, hi, I want you to tell me everything, and you better do that now. So I'm like, I don't want to have to, but like, got it. But yeah, that's, I didn't realize that maybe you'd have to speak more and in detail when you have to speak to me.
So it's the very first time I met you.
Yeah.
It gave me some kind of a harshness to express myself a little bit. Yeah. Because it is a kind of a little bit different way.
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
But nowadays, as it goes by, so I a little bit used to this kind of speaking way, and then I became more and more talkative.
Good.
And then I feel comfortable about this kind of speaking way.
Oh, I'm glad. I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, you're also speaking to me.
Fortunately, unfortunately.
Meaning I don't know. I'm a particular kind of person that isn't representative of all Americans, English-speaking people. I'm even an outlier in some of those spaces as well. So, Sorry, not sorry. I don't know if I should.
Please tell me.
I don't know. I mean, hey, we're here. We're all learning together. No, but all I hope is that you feel comfortable enough speaking to me. And I will read the room as much as I can to see if you're not.
I bet you are doing so well.
Am I?
Oh, yeah. Really, really.
Oh, okay.
You do. You're really doing so well.
I'm good at doing things. Okay. I'm just so smart. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you are.
I'm kidding.
So what?
I'm kidding. Well, it just feels weird to say sometimes. Like,
okay.
You know. But no, I think it'll be interesting as I continue to learn Korean. I think that'll be a beautiful way to enrich our friendship because I'll understand more about your, I guess, upbringing and context due to language. Just as you're like, what's the hardest thing in English right now for you?
English? You know, I understand it. I figure out that there's some kind of the idioms.
Are they hard?
Idioms so change. And then, you know,
have a lot.
From the books,
Yeah.
a lot of English books, I've learned some very traditional words.
Which we would not use.
Present you English speakers don't use present English speakers.
No. Which, I mean, I'm gonna toot our horn. I think listening to Exchange Chan for anyone who does want to learn English, I think it's a good example. Because we have a non-native speaker who I think you try so hard. Like, I think you do so well with English. I think you don't give yourself enough credit. Girl, we're sitting here and you're understanding everything, if not just, you know, the majority, if not everything I'm saying. And I have a particular kind of speech, but I do use idioms too. And it's a very modern today person speaking and also a language learner, and how we interact I think is very natural. So if you want to learn English, listen up.
That is the most difficult thing. And then one more is, you know, usage of the words, the same words, different uses.
Like,
why?
do you have an example?
Why they have?
Do you have an example?
Example?
Yeah.
You know, the sound has several meaning of the same word. Sound is a verb and adjective, and then noun in a different meaning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, or it's how you use it, right? Like, it's this, but as a noun, and then you use
Yeah, sound. The sound is just you know, a sound, so we can hear.
Yeah.
And then, but sometimes it sounds great, or it sounds, you know, you know, like a verb,
or it's sound as in like solid.
Yeah, solid. And then, you know, sometimes it is used in sound body.
Yeah.
On sound mind.
Yeah.
And then it's so different.
Yep.
Why? Why is that?
Welcome to English. When I like,
it's a weird word.
It's so silly. When I was my most recent, when I was doing the exchange where I go to this pottery ceramic studio and I teach her English, the last class we just had, like the interaction, I'm like, oh God, what you actually learned today was how stupid English is. She actually is like improving and doing quite well. But we were kind of making a script for teaching people how to paint who are hand building or just in general, like painting the pieces that they make. And some of the words, I'm like, oh God, how do I explain this to you? Because we just have to say English is stupid because she's like, why is it spelled that way? I didn't make the rules. I don't know. Like, it is dumb. I find it so stupid. I mean, I even growing up had to, because Hangul is so phonetic, right?
That's right.
But like, I'll have to do things like, I would make up like how a phonetic way of speaking or of spelling in my head in order to remember how to spell the word. Like,
so easy.
No, but it's hard. Like, it's so
hard,
and I still do it to this day.
Because it's because you don't know all the spellings.
Well,
the
I mean,
Hangul spellings.
No, but I'm saying like in English. So in English, because English is so weird, I'll have to think of a phonetic way that helps me remember how to spell, because I'm quite a good speller.
So sound first.
Yeah, so like I mean, an easy one is beautiful. Like I go BEA beautiful. Yeah, or beautiful.
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 Right? Or, yeah, I'll like have different things in my... And that one, I think there's like a quote from a film that also does it. But, yeah, there are quite a few of those. And there were a few that day when I was teaching her. And I'm just like, oh, God, maybe think of it this way because you're not going to remember. Like, it's so stupid. Yeah. English. But are you enjoying?
Yeah, enjoying. So enjoyable.
Good.
And then I love to learn this language.
Good. And you like language learning?
Yeah, language learning.
Are you naturally good at learning a language?
Good at? I don't know, but
I think so.
But I'm so curious. Curious, and then I want to know.
And I think that's
a
great.
lot more and more. And then, the ChatGPT can give me a lot help.
There you go.
Then,
ChatGPT Megan.
ChatGPT Megan. And then I also asking ChatGPT that, why this word has this kind of so different meaning as the same word. And then he says a kind of history about that word and then some background of so changeable about some words.
Yeah.
And it's so helpful.
I mean,
to me.
It's like a whole thing with English. Like there's been, I mean, we don't have to get fully into it, but like some people, and I'm sure it probably happens in the Korean language too, of some people want you to keep the same word, like the same meaning of a word. But like I also, and as a writer, like sometimes I play with, okay, this is how the word has originally and is normally been used, but we're using it differently. And so learning how to, because being too elitist is, I think gatekeeping within language and it's belittling different ways of speaking. And I think that's not great, whether it's like a language learner or different accents and dialects within the English language. I think gatekeeping and being too elitist in the language is not great, but it is good to know both, I think. And as writer and as someone who also just likes people, like you said, you're curious. I'm also curious about people. I think there's this knowing how to, when to use it this way, when to not use it, how to play with that. And unfortunately for you, hi, this is English. Should we play a song in English?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, some Uma in English. So the next song that I like, I don't know if you like it, but it's called Last Night's Mascara by Griff.
Last night's mascara is such a pretty thing. It covers my eyes. I'm a beauty queen running down my face, listening to Orinoco flow. Yeah, last night's mascara is such a wonderful thing. It's as dark as my heart, yet it's sparkling. And it stayed with me, sitting on the back of the last train home. But you look at me now. Wake up in the morning, oh, would you look at me now? I'm rubbing it off like it's a memory of you. Oh, look at me now. Oh, would you look at me now? Wake up in the morning, oh, would you look at me now? I'm rubbing it off like it's a memory of you. Oh, would you look at me
And here are another question I prepared.
Okay.
So can you share a moment when a failure turned into a learning opportunity for you?
My life.
Yeah.
Well, because I always am. So, okay, in my artwork, it can be quite challenging. And there's always been a range of people either feeling challenged within it or almost angry or feeling really seen. And it's because it can be very challenging, and it sometimes requires people to ask themselves hard questions. I only do that because I'm doing that to myself constantly. And throughout my life, I've had to overcome a lot of hurdles. And even when it's been hard at times, there's always been this question to me okay, what can I learn from this? And how can I either keep going and learning and improving and evolving or pivot in order to learn something new and get to a similar, if not same goal, but going a different route. So, I mean, do you have something in your life?
I don't have the exact one remind me.
Yeah.
But I think that, everything seems depend on how I think, how I look at it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there is no failure that doesn't give you some kind of lesson.
For sure. I mean, I think it can get really, as someone who I focus on healing a lot in my personal life, but which, hey, all my skills I learn aren't only the things that bleed into my artist practice. It's my personal life as well as part of my art. But healing is a big thing. I also think about it and question it and study it psychologically for my personhood, but also for my art and that kind of journey. I'm my own case study within it. But it can be really toxic at times, always thinking that that bad thing happened and so I have to learn something from it in order to be okay. No, sometimes things are just shit. But that's where, in my practice, I say turning the ugly into something beautiful. And it's okay if it takes a while to get there. But it also, I think that's a really beneficial thing and beautiful thing to do in life. And really, I think it's so resilient and strong to be able to learn something and sometimes humbly be oh, I fucked up. Or oh, maybe it's okay to slow down and look at this differently and see how I can change, improve, or because that's really, I think, humble and strong to do that. Because not, like I said, not everyone wants to change.
Yeah. Everyone doesn't want.
Not everyone. Well, change is hard.
Change is hard. And then not welcoming one.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's scary. I also think it doesn't have to be full on failure to learn something new. I don't know, learning, I mean, I always do it. Sometimes not always welcome. It takes you oh my God, I need to learn how to do this. I mean, how personal do we want? Maybe you could say it's failure, but I also think it's part of the story where maybe I couldn't get a visa for somewhere. And so I accumulated some things and then I had to get rid of it. And then, learning how to maybe live in a different place instead of the place I originally was. You could call my biological family relationships failure.
I don't mean that.
But it's true. That's when I think of failures in some ways. I mean, if you want to call it failures, it's just something didn't work out or there's been rejection in some way. What can you learn from it?
And then, I don't know your relationship with your biological family.
It's not really
can
there.
be called failure. I don't think so.
I mean, some people see that though. I mean,
but you are so young now, and
Yes.
then you have a lot of so huge chances to reconnect it or some kind of to face some kind of new stage of the
relationship.
Yeah,
And
relationship.
With, I think with other people, because I think it's also beautiful to make your own family. And I'm not talking about getting married, having babies. I'm talking about friendships and creative partnerships. Those are very beautiful to me. I say that sometimes because amidst being I seek change in a lot of ways and I challenge and I question a lot, I can also be very hard on myself. It's a habit that is not one of my well, I guess it's a strong suit because I'm good at it apparently, but like not one I would like to keep perpetuating. I guess I'm learning to more and more be kinder to myself and not call it failures. But yeah, I mean, I've had failed things that I like put some art out there or like a business idea or I apply to something and yes, this is different with it's all kind of rejection. Failure in some ways is like rejection, or you put it out there, it doesn't get the traction you want. So, okay, yeah. I mean, now I'm building a lot within my website, with our podcasts, with just my life in general. There are a lot of things that all these maybe what people would call failures are just moments I've had to learn and sometimes heal from. But because I've chosen to channel it into creating something new and better, yeah, I'm proud of myself for having the resilience to weather a lot of that and to make something beautiful out of it. It's like, oh, let's see it as a learning experience. Acknowledge that maybe it really hurt, but what did I learn from that as well? And how can I do better now?
And then as you mentioned, when we see the failure is exactly not the failure.
Yeah.
And then it's a kind of signal that kind of, one step to go forward to the final outcome. And so failure is just kind of delayed, procrastinated working, processing steps to go to the final, I think.
Yeah. I think sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to be doing something at someone else's pace when it's like, hey, just figuring it out and being curious. That's all we can do. Speaking of things we need to get better and better at is learning when to say goodbye because we are out of time.
Oh, really? Oh, lady.
But thank you for today. It was really lovely.
You.
So before we go, our last song is Wildflower by RM. And see you next time.
See you next time.
Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
꽃을 나는 동경했어 난 그저 화려하게 지고 싶은 날 시작의 전부터 나 상상했었지 그때 웃으며 박수 쳐줄 수 있게 나 소원했어 난 믿었던 게 다 멀어지던 때 이 모든 명예가 이제 멍해가 됐을 때 이 욕심을 제발 걷어가소서 어떤 일이 있어도 나를 나로 하게 하소서 Oh every day and every night persistent pain and criminal mind 내 심장 소리에 잠 못 들던 밤 창밖에 걸은 청승마 지초승 달 I do wish me a lovely night 내 분수보다 비대해질 life 저기 날아오르는 풍선을 애써 쥐고 다져 물어 대체 지금 너 어때 Where you go where'd you show you where'd you 마지막일까 전부 진결이 나 하나 열까지 다 이 지긋지 끝한 가면은 언제 벗겨질까 예민한 힐도 민우들은 아무것도 아니나 회전은 반복돼 기억들은 안 포기해 난 눈물을 판 속에 시선을 던져 하루에 뭘 원했었던 건지 이제 기억이 안 나 얻었다 믿었던 모든 행복은 교차했나 No matter what's wrong 그게 뭐가 됐건 새벽의 호 자락을 붙잡고 뭔가 소해내는 기억 목소리 막힌 자들의 사회 난 여전히 침묵을 말해 이건 방백과서가 독답해 모두 오해 편견들의 타겟 반갑잖아 너의 행가래 내 두 발이 여기 땅 위에 이름도 없는 꽃들과 함께 다시 별에 가시고 소확해 발밑으로 와주시고 목적 없는 목적지로 슬픈 줄도 모르고 그림자마저 신기해 없었지. And don't tell me like gotta be a someone. 난 절대 그들처럼 될 수 없음니. 그린 듯이 작은 실 여태 건날 지켜온 단 하나의 힘과 절. 타는 불꽃에서 들꽃으로 손에 내서 영원으로 나의 황량한 들의 나무를 언젠가 나 되돌아가네.
He's only a few years younger
Joanne,
than you.
I'm not looking for anyone.